Tommy, time to talk some betting again, mate. So we went very close on the multi once again, and you went very close on the golf course last Friday. So you nearly jag a hole in one at the charity day, was it? Or was it?
No, I don't think it was a charity day. I think it was a fill up for a few podcasts, etc. And Ned's obviously sponsoring one of the holes, so that was good. That was fantastic. The multi was disappointing. We went 3 from 4 and missed out. The Gold Coast Suns blew Hawthorn away, so we missed our final leg there. But yeah, really good weekend actually.
Good to hear. Look, we got some more milestone talk to talk about this week after Lachie Neale's 250th last week. Scotty Pendlebury, currently in doubt with a rib injury, but he's in search of 10,000 disposals. Has a big game on Saturday against Port Adelaide at the MCG. We're going to see a fascinating battle in the midfield here again. And Pendles is currently sitting 23 shy of putting this milestone on his resume. Going to be a tough game, as I said, against Port. They don't allow many cheap possessions. Currently are allowing the second fewest disposals to opponents behind only the Gold Coast Suns. In his last 3 games, against Port, Pendles has had 20 or less in 2 of those. And he's been a bit hit and miss for the punters in the 25-plus market, has cashed that number in just 3 of his last 10 games, dating back to round 23 last year. Pretty easy one for you off the bat, mate. Do we see Pendles bring up the 10K in front of the Army this Saturday?
No, I don't think so. I think if he gets up and about, he'll be still a little bit sore, obviously carrying the rib. So I imagine they'll try and put him not so much in the contest away from that. And as you said, Port Adelaide don't give up that many disposals. So I think we'll have to wait another week to see the 10,000 mark fall.
We were talking before we started recording. You think Port Adelaide's a bit of value this week at around the $2.05 mark. You happy to take on the Pies coming off the bye?
Yeah, as we record 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, $2.05 I think for Port Adelaide's outstanding value. Collingwood $1.77. I don't think Collingwood's form stacks up that well. They just fell in against Hawthorn, who we've seen on the weekend were deplorable up here against the Gold Coast Suns. Port Adelaide had a tough contest against Fremantle. They got to win on the road as well to get where they want to get, Port Adelaide. So I think at $2.05 that's really good value.
Yeah, I can't disagree. And there is a bit of a question mark over teams coming off the early bye this earlier in the season. Another big game on Saturday, Brisbane versus Geelong. This is fair to say it's a pretty big rivalry these days. Back-to-back wins for the Lions. Looks like they're back on track now. Yet to win at the Gabba, though. That's something I didn't think we'd be saying by round 6. So big one on Saturday night at the Gabba. Brisbane, I think where they're going to win this game is around the clearances. That's where it helped them last week against Melbourne. Currently ranked first in the competition. Geelong ranked 6. And as I said, the Lions smashed Melbourne in that department last week. Brisbane's mids, look, I think they're not firing on all cylinders just yet. Lachie Neale's been a touch disappointing. Dunkley's easily been their best midfielder so far. Likewise, you can say that for the Cats. Patrick Dangerfield's been their top disposal getter so far. Who do you think's got the advantage through the middle of the ground here?
Oh, I think Brisbane. Brisbane at home, they tick a lot of the boxes. It should be a cracking contest, and yeah, who would have thought middle of April, end of April, and Brisbane haven't won at the Gabba. So I think they'll turn that form around. They were a different team on the weekend, nearly a week ago now, on the Thursday night against Melbourne. They were hungry for the contest, went after it, and had Melbourne not kicked I think they kicked the last 4 goals of the game. So they just dominated the contest from start to finish. At the MCG, they'll be happy to get back on their home deck, fast ground. I think Brisbane will win quite comfortably.
Happy to take Brisbane there. I do think one area worth watching here is Geelong in terms of their defensive setup. One of the best teams, well, actually the best team when it comes to intercept marks. So I guess my question for you is we've seen Hipwood return to form last week. Rayner was really good as well. Are you going to sort of steer us away from backing Brisbane goal scorers this week with the form Tom Stewart and the rest of Geelong's defence is in?
No, I don't think so. Not at the Gabba. It's a lot harder to get those intercept marks because at other venues it's easier to drop off and find the holes, where Gabba, it's so fast, centre square bounce, it's deep forward straight away from the clearance. So I think they'll feast the Port Adelaide forwards. We know Geelong are tough to play against and really good, solid defence. But I think Port, I wouldn't be steering anyone away from not backing their forwards to kick multiple goals.
We're going to head to Sunday now. The fascinating
absolute blockbuster.
Yeah, blockbuster on Sunday afternoon. I'll be curious to see the ratings about this one. The battle at the bottom. winless Hawthorn and North Melbourne under the roof at Marvel. Little update on the wooden spoon market, or the least wins market as it's called on Neds. North, you can currently take $2. West Coast, you're getting $2.50, and my Hawks $5.50, who are very much in the running. You called that game last Saturday against the Suns, Rocky. What did you make of Hawthorn?
They were horrible, and I watched the whole VFL game, and it was exactly the same. So there's not a lot coming through. Yes, they've got a few injuries, but I'm sort of leaning towards North Melbourne, believe it or not, in this game. I don't think there'll be great viewership, as you said, on 4 o'clock. I don't think we'd want to send this to the rest of the world and say, come and watch our game on 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. But North Melbourne's draw is as tough as there's been in the first 5 weeks. They've taken on GWS, who were prelim last year, and everyone expects probably grand finals. Freo, who we're unsure about, but they're in pretty good form. Carlton, which prelim last year. Brisbane Lions, who played in the grand final, and then Geelong at Geelong.
It's a very tough start to the year, yeah. Deservedly winless, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a reason, like they're going to struggle, as we know. They're going to take a bit of time, but those first 5 games, so they would have probably penciled this one in and thought, this is a game that we can win. Hawthorn are just going, seeing Sam Mitchell for the first time, I reckon, in his tenure to start to get a little bit flustered. So I'd be sort of leaning towards going for North Melbourne in this game.
No, I do think you're right there. In terms of the market, Hawthorn are currently favoured by about 2 goals. The Hawks have won 4 in a row over North. All of them have been by more than 2 goals, and the last 2 games have gone under the total. The key stats I think worth keeping an eye on this week are, again, the clearances. If Hawthorn wins the clearances, they tend to win the game.
Yep.
But that wasn't the case in that first half against Collingwood a couple of weeks ago. Then they turned things around and really came roaring home. Interesting, though, North do rank 3rd in centre clearances, so that could be where they win this game. As you said, you're happy to go with North, so I'm not going to ask you who wins and why, but could this actually be a good game of footy?
Well, potentially.
For all the wrong reasons?
I don't think it'll be a good game of footy, but I think it could be a close game of footy. And to get $2.80 about North Melbourne again on Tuesday morning, $1.45 Hawthorn, $2.80 is the value for me right there, North Melbourne. They've got enough. I think Larkey's looking to go. And what I've seen from Hawthorn defensively as a team last week, they had no system as a team defensively. So North Melbourne might be able to pick their way through them. Very different kettle of fish to what they played last week, North Melbourne. Geelong in Geelong to Hawthorn in Melbourne at Marvel there. So I just think North are good chance.
Sounds like we're both in agreement on that one. Hopefully we're both in agreement with the multi this week. To recap what happened last week, I led us off with Hawthorn 1-39. Didn't get up.
Gold Coast 1-39. Did you? Or did you tip?
No, I took... Oh, sorry, Gold Coast. Yeah, Gold Coast 1-39, I should say. Yeah. Didn't get the chocolates there. But we did go pretty well on the rest of the legs. So I took West Coast to cover on Sunday afternoon against Richmond, which you doubted me for, but we got there. But it was all over, unfortunately. And you had Carl Amon 25 plus disposals, and Charlie Dixon 2+ goals against Fremantle. This week, I'm leading us off on Thursday night. Bit nervous about this one.
Yeah, Thursday night starts no good.
Yeah, we could be dead in the water before we even get started. Look, I'm going to go St Kilda, though, head-to-head against the Bulldogs. I think the Saints have been playing good footy the last couple of weeks. They've been unlucky not to get the win, and we know there's plenty of question marks and spotlight on the Dogs right now about where they're heading. You're going to head us on the second leg Saturday afternoon.
Yes, Saturday afternoon, the first game, Collingwood take on Port Adelaide. I'm going to take Myercheck to kick 2+. I think he's always thereabouts in that market. He always seems to kick goals, so $1.82.
And then we're going to the Derby Saturday night. You are looking at one of the top disposal getters in the league.
I was going to go for a game, but I've been on fire in the player markets. You've been really good with the team, so I'm going to go Sarong 30+ in over there in the Derby. I think he just gets it done.
I'm sticking with the same game. I'm taking Fremantle to cover in that one. I thought West Coast were really good last week, but this is a different quality of opponent, and this Fremantle side could easily be undefeated if things fell their way this year. So to recap, we've got St Kilda head-to-head on Thursday against the Dogs, Brody Myercheck to kick 2+ goals against Port Adelaide. Then you've got Caleb Sarong, 30+ touches, and I'm taking the Dockers to cover in that same game. Bit short for us this week, but we'll take it. $9.38.
Touch short. We prefer the 16 to 1, but we'll take a win with $9.38.
Absolutely. Well, Rocky, good chat as always, mate. We'll do it again next week.
Good on you, Ryan.